Anthropic released Claude Opus 4.8 on May 28, the same day they announced a $65 billion funding round at a $965 billion valuation, and a few days later they confidentially submitted a draft S1 to the SEC. It was a busy week for the most valuable AI company in the world, and the model release, which might have been the headline on any other day, almost got lost in the financial news. It should not have. Because Opus 4.8 has a capability improvement that is both genuinely surprising and more practically important than any benchmark number, it is significantly more honest about what it does not know, and it comes with 3 new features that change how you interact with Claude every day. Here is everything that changed, what the benchmarks actually show, and at the end, a piece of news about what comes after Opus that Anthropic buried in the final paragraph of the announcement. Most AI model releases lead with benchmark scores. Opus 4.8 announcement leads with honesty. That is worth paying attention to. The problem Anthropic is describing is real and well documented across AI models. They sometimes jump to conclusions. They generate confident-sounding output even when the underlying evidence is thin. In coding tasks specifically, this means a model can produce code with bugs and then describe the code as complete and working, leaving the human to discover the problem later. Opus 4.8 is around 4 times less likely than its predecessor to allow flaws in code it has written to pass unremarked. 4 times. That is not a marginal improvement, it is a qualitative shift in how the model handles uncertainty. Early testers across multiple companies describe this as better judgment. Cursor's CEO said Opus 4.8 uses fewer steps for the same intelligence and carries end-to-end tasks through. Devon's CEO said it follows instructions with the consistency autonomous engineering workloads need, and fixes the comment verbosity and tool calling issues that appeared in Opus 4.7. Databricks said it proactively flags issues with inputs and outputs that other models routinely missed. The consistent thread across all of these is not raw capability, it is reliability. A model that knows what it does not know and says so is more useful in production than a more capable model that confidently hallucinates. Opus 4.8 appears to have moved meaningfully in that direction. Anthropic's alignment team also noted that Opus 4.8 reached new highs on measures of pro-social traits, supporting user autonomy, acting in users' best interests, with rates of misaligned behavior substantially lower than Opus 4.7 and similar to their most aligned model, Claude Mythos Preview. More on Mythos in a moment. The headline benchmark figures from the official system card. On SWE Bench Verified, the standard measure of AI ability to solve real software engineering tasks, Opus 4.8 scores higher than its predecessor and exceeds GPT 5.5 at cost parity. Cursor's own internal benchmark, Cursor Bench, showed Opus 4.8 exceeding prior Opus models across every effort level. On Terminal Bench 2.1, which measures the model's ability to operate effectively in terminal environments, Opus 4.8 sets a new record. The legal benchmark result is worth calling out specifically. Opus 4.8 achieved the highest score ever recorded on the legal agent benchmark, and is the first model to break 10% on the all-pass standard. The company Co-Counsel, which builds AI for legal professionals, confirmed this represented a meaningful accuracy lift that translates directly into how much real attorney work their customers can hand off with confidence. On computer use, the ability to operate a browser and desktop applications autonomously, Opus 4.8 scored 84% on online Mind2 Web, a meaningful jump over both Opus 4.7 and GPT 5.5. For agent workflows that involve browser automation, this is directly commercially relevant. On finance tasks, Opus 4.8 delivers the same strong quality as 4.7, with noticeably better citation precision and more token efficiency, which matters for the financial document workflows driving a large part of Anthropic's enterprise revenue. 3 practical improvements that affect day-to-day use. First, Fast Mode is now 3 times cheaper than it was for Opus 4.7. Fast Mode runs the model at 2.5 times the speed at the cost of some capability depth. At the new pricing, $10 per million input tokens and $50 per million output tokens for Fast Mode. This is now a genuinely compelling option for tasks where turnaround speed matters more than maximum depth. For comparison, regular Opus 4.8 pricing is unchanged from 4.7, $5 per million input tokens and 25 per million output. Second, effort control is now available to all Claude.ai and Cowork users. A new control alongside the model selector lets you choose how much thinking Claude puts into a response. High effort means more frequent, deeper reasoning, better output but slower and using more of your rate limits. Low effort is faster and lighter on rate limits. The default is high, which Anthropic says is the best overall balance for most tasks. Extra and max effort levels are available for difficult tasks and long-running asynchronous workflows. Third, for API developers, the Messages API now accepts system entries inside the Messages array. This means you can update Claude's instructions mid-task, changing permissions, token budgets, or environment context as an agent runs, without breaking the prompt cache or routing the update through a user turn. For anyone building complex agentic systems, this is a meaningful developer experience improvement. The most significant new feature for developers is dynamic workflows in Claude Code that launched in research preview for Enterprise, Team, and Max Plan subscribers. This is the capability that takes agentic coding from do this task to complete this project. Dynamic workflows allows Claude to plan a large piece of work and then run hundreds of parallel subagents in a single session, each working on a portion of the task simultaneously, and then verify the outputs before reporting back. Anthropic's headline example is striking. Claude Code, with Opus 4.8, can now carry out codebase-scale migrations across hundreds of thousands of lines of code, from kickoff to merge, using the existing test suite as its quality bar. That is a task that would typically take a team of engineers days or weeks. The model plans it, parallelizes it, validates it, and delivers a result. The combination of Opus 4.8's improved honesty, its tendency to flag problems rather than silently pass them, with dynamic workflows parallelization and verification, makes this substantially more trustworthy than previous agentic approaches. You are not just getting code faster, you are getting code that the model itself has scrutinized more carefully before handing it over. Anthropic buried the most significant part of the Opus 4.8 announcement in the final paragraph. It deserves to be front and center. Quote, "We plan to release a new class of model with even higher intelligence than Opus." As part of Project Glasswing, a small number of organizations are currently using Claude Mythos preview for cybersecurity work. Models of this capability level require stronger cyber safeguards before they can be generally released. We're making swift progress on developing these safeguards and expect to be able to bring Mythos-class models to all our customers in the coming weeks. Mythos Preview is the model that Anthropic described earlier this year as too dangerous for general release because of its extraordinary cybersecurity capabilities, the one that found thousands of zero-day vulnerabilities across every major operating system and browser, the one that is currently only available to a small group of trusted organizations through Project Glasswing. Anthropic is now saying they expect to bring Mythos-class capabilities to all customers within weeks. That is not a vague future roadmap item, that is a specific near-term commitment from a company that just became the most valuable AI company in the world and filed a confidential S1 with the SEC within days. Whatever comes after Opus 4.8 is going to be a meaningfully different conversation about what AI can do. Claude Opus 4.8 is available everywhere today. Same pricing as 4.7 for regular usage. Fast mode at 3 times lower cost. Dynamic workflows in research preview for Enterprise, Team, and Max. The full system card, which includes the detailed benchmark suite and alignment assessment, is linked in the description. If you want the full story on Anthropic's $965 billion valuation and what the S1 filing means, that video is linked in the description below. Subscribe for weekly coverage of what's actually changing in AI. Thanks for watching.